Developing today, Prince Harry's meltdown. New reporting reveals that he is in bad dad therapy over fears he could become a deadbeat father and divorcee like King Charles. We're going to get analysis on this shocking decline, and that is really what it is, actually, from Angela Levin, Prince Harry's biographer, in just one moment. But first, let me take you through this new reporting from Radar Online's Matthew Acton, who writes, petrified Prince Harry is seeing a therapist to avoid becoming a deadbeat dad like Prince Charles. It's King Charles now, isn't it? Radar Online can reveal. The royal still resents Charles's treatment of his mum, Princess Diana, who confessed she was left feeling closed off by her former husband's cruelty seconds after she delivered Harry. She said the first words out of her then husband's mouth when Harry was born was a hint that the ginger-haired boy may have been the result of Diana's affair with red-headed cavalry officer James Hewitt. Diana said Charles sneered when he laid eyes on Harry and said, "Oh God, it's a boy, and he's even got red hair." She added, "Something inside me just closed off." The princess also claimed that she hid Harry's gender from Charles because she knew how much he wanted a little girl. She went on to self-harm over Charles's snide comments about her weight. A source said about Harry's big into wellness and mental health, now thanks to Meghan's influence and his involvement in mental health charities. He's been supported by Meghan in his decision to see a counsellor as he's racked with fear he will fall into the classic trap of repeating mistakes from the past. It's well known how scarred he is by tales of Charles's cruelty to his beloved mother, and he sees therapy as a way of becoming the best dad possible to his son Archie and little girl. His therapy is classic blame the parents stuff. It's not that he's a bad dad, he just wants to do everything he can not to do what Charles did. They added Harry is also still horrified over Charles's handling of Diana's death. Now look, Angela, you spent all of that time with Harry. You know how complex his emotions are when it comes to his father, but I think the guy's in trouble at the moment. I've got a couple of videos from him this week, which I want you to look at in just one moment. But first, do you really think more therapy, more slagging off of Charles, more blaming your dad is the solution here, Angela? Really? If you're enjoying what we're doing here on Outspoken, please consider joining our thriving community over on Substack, www.outspoken.live. You can sign up completely for free, but Substack is so important to me. It is a free speech platform. It protects me from big tech cancellation. Plus, you get to communicate directly with me. Head on over www.outspoken.live, enter your email address, and sign up today.
No, I've got two important things to tell you,
Okay,
really.
good.
This feeling that he has, that Diana said that Charles, her husband then, didn't want another boy, right? In my book, and I got it before, but let me read you something. Charles was there for the whole of the birth, which he wasn't with William, and he said afterwards it was a marvellous experience. And he said he decided after a month that he would give an interview to a television in America and tell them all about having a second son. And he wouldn't have done that unless he was very, very excited about it. And he said that Harry is absolutely adorable. It's very, very interesting to have a second child because once you have a second one, you are really relaxed as a parent and you're able to communicate to him. An atmosphere is much greater. And Harry is extraordinarily good. He sleeps marvelously and he eats very well. Now, don't tell me that's somebody who wanted a girl. Right? He loved him. What he might have said is that, "Oh, I'd have loved a little girl. Oh, never mind." But it's not actually that's the end of the world. And he wasn't actually against him in any way. And the other thing that I'd just like to tell you quickly is that, Harry is trying to make his father actually really ill. And he wants to go on and on and on until he gets his way. But if he's going to make another sort of talk to the BBC like he did before, which is extremely rude and extremely powerful, why should the Charles see him? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. If you want to get round someone, you apologize, you go and see them, you're quiet, you don't want to. He is still determined to go and get the king to apologize for Meghan. You see, everything he does is about apologizing to Meghan and being nice to Meghan. And he won't actually, there's no point going to a psychiatrist or anybody like that if you're still living in that place. It's not going to work. He's got to recover himself before he can actually get help. And he won't listen to anybody else but Meghan. Meghan gives him advice and tells him what to do, and that's it. So he's not going to be able to, he won't let himself, because this is the only thing he's got. It's her, isn't it? And the children, because he doesn't want to leave them. I'm quite sure about that. And he doesn't want to upset, not even leave her, but upset her. And you can't go to anybody to help you with mental problems if you're not going with a sort of open mind to do it, and he was not. So it's a nonsense.
It is, Angela, but I mean, I've seen Harry in these videos this week, and
Okay.
I wanted to show them to you, Angela, because I think he genuinely is losing it at the moment. So there's this speech
Oh,
that
yeah.
he's giving for Travelist,
Yes.
but it's like he's going through the motions. He doesn't look engaged. He just looks and feels like a broken man, I thought, when he was delivering this speech. Watch.
Represents 10% of global GDP, the opportunity to drive positive social change is enormous. Our new data initiative aims to give us a clearer understanding of how tourism can be a genuine force for good and what changes are needed to ensure that it delivers on that promise. I've seen tourism done well, and I've seen it done poorly, as many of you in this room probably have too. It's what inspired me to create Travelist in the first place, because the business relies on destinations, and those destinations are held together by the people who call them home. Tourism has the potential to make an incredible difference if we channel it with good intentions. And with the industry set for a massive growth expected to represent nearly 11.4% of the global economy by 2033, we have to be single-minded in how we harness that power. At Travelist, we're committed to creating a tourism industry that works for everyone, not just for those sitting in boardrooms or on faraway islands. Our collective responsibility is clear: to ensure that travel becomes a positive impact sector and the benefits reach every level of society. To the brave men and women of the Bundeswehr, a heartfelt thank you for your steadfast service to your country, to your people, and to one another. Today is also a celebration of you, the values you stand for, the oath you took, and the great country you stand to protect. Today, let us renew our commitment, together, to protect the freedoms that define who we are, to serve each other for peace, for dignity, and for the enduring promise of democracy. Vielen Dank und einen schönen Tag.
I mean, Angela, especially in that speech, it's the worst I've ever seen him. He looks and feels broken, and it's like he doesn't believe what he's saying. He's going through the motions.
Robotic, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like wind you up, bah, bah, bah. Yes.
Did you see that?
It's very, very sad. I think it's very, very sad. But he has to change the direction of what he's doing, isn't he? I mean, because this man, if he goes to somebody, they're going to try and persuade him. He wants them to help him persuade his father to see his children. And he hopes that, the person can help him. But if you never see a person's face, you're not going to fall in love with them. You don't say, oh, aren't they sweet, aren't they lovely? And King Charles, I can't imagine sort of scrambling through to try and find something where you can see a bit of a face or anything like that. I mean, it has to be realistic. it's very, very difficult for him, but he needs a partner, i.e. Meghan, who will help him now and say, look, let me help you. Let me help you make yourself a different sort of a person. I know you love me. You've helped me. You've gone everywhere, every magazine to keep me going. And now can I help you? That might be helpful. Instead, she goes for a swing and brings in a bottle of wine and is absolutely me. And this is the tragedy. He can go to 10,000 different therapists, and that nothing will happen if Meghan says, what you've got to do is me. Go and send to do this, go around and sort that out and make sure they apologise to me for not putting me on the front. He can't.
But first, don't eat breakfast until you learn about caloric bypass. Your breakfast is setting you up for the entire day to either gain weight or lose it. The term breakfast, think about this, literally means to break your fast that you started the night before. About 4 hours after you eat dinner, your body switches from the nutrients we get from food to the stored glycogen we have in our bodies. Once glycogen stores are depleted, that's typically after about 8 to 12 hours of fasting, the body shifts to burning fat for energy. Fatty acids are released from fat stores where they are converted into ketone bodies through a process called ketogenesis. Then, when you eat breakfast in the morning, the body starts the cycle again. So this is where the caloric bypass comes into play. Dr. Gundry, heart surgeon, brilliant heart surgeon in California, learned that if you break your nightly fast with something called MCTs or medium chain triglycerides, you can actually keep burning fat throughout the day and use it for energy. But there are specific types of foods that contain these MCTs. Using this breakfast breakthrough, he was able to lose 70 pounds, and he did this in his 60s just through diet. I mean, utterly incredible. So you can find out all about it and his exact method by going to thehealthyfat.com/outspoken. That's thehealthyfat.com/outspoken, or just click on the link in the description box below or on the QR code on the screen if you are watching on YouTube or Rumble. It is important to remember that everybody's body processes fat differently, and it all depends on your unique metabolic type, which is why in the video he has released for my incredible Outspoken viewers, he will talk all about it. It's fascinating, may well change the way you think about your health. So go to thehealthyfat.com/outspoken or click on the link in the description box below. But now, back to the show. Angela, meanwhile, this week, the Daily Mail is claiming that the reason behind Prince Harry's decision to allow Meghan Markle to pimp out the children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, all over Instagram, is because he's effectively trying to get to Charles. And they report that Harry's completely heartbroken and that Charles is now refusing to see Harry or the kids, even on Zoom. And they say it isn't a PR move, but it's desperation on his part because he wants Charles to see what he's missing. What do you make of that?
Well, it's ridiculous, isn't it? You're not missing when you don't see someone's face. To see their back is a ridiculous aim, isn't it? To see the length of their hair isn't going to tell you anything about them. There we are with the roses. Now, would you fall for those two children? They look very sweet, but they're not actually. Well, those are too young now. They are back again. You just see them by their back, and that's not going to work. There's no point loving them when they were, 1 or 2, and everybody's laughing. You want to see children who come over and will spend a few days and you can see what they're really like. But he won't do that, will he? Because he's got to have protection 3 days or 5 days a week. And you can't have somebody who's going to go into the room and start shouting about what they have to do with Meghan and how disappointed they are and they didn't give him enough money. You can't do that because Charles has also got a cancer problem, and you've got to be very careful about these things. He's not going in with a good heart about his parents. He's going in to punish them, and to not his parent, his father and his brother. He can't do that until he recovers that anger that he's got inside him. And he won't cover that until Meghan puts on a different face and helps him, not anybody else. None of the anybody else matters. It's him. If she really looks after him, he needs looking after and caring for. Absolutely, he does. But she's the only one who can help him to go there. And she won't do that because she likes him just to be servile.
Yeah, it's just so bizarre. The whole
But
thing.
it's his fault. I mean, the way he behaved on the BBC was
Mm.
disgusting. His book was disgusting. The interviews are disgusting. You can't actually, unless you really not grovel, but you can grow up and apologize and say, give me a chance and I will do my very best. But Meghan won't let him do that, and I can't imagine him doing it either. So, I think he's been to loads and loads of therapists, but they've never been able to help him because he won't let them. It's like if you are an addiction to drink, there's no point going to somebody who says, now you must stop, because people can't. It takes them a long time. And until they really, really want to do that, it's not going to work. These are all very sweet pictures, lovely family pictures, but you're not really getting any idea of the child. And the child doesn't speak to you, doesn't know who you are. And so it's just, we don't even know if they are his. So it's just,
Well, we certainly don't know if they're hers, do we? I mean, do you
no.
think Charles is even looking at this, Angela? Because he doesn't have a mobile phone, does he?
No, he doesn't have a mobile phone, and what he doesn't want to do is to upset himself. He loves Harry, but he can't let Harry behave so badly. And all these court cases, he has to wait till they're all finished. There's one more, because he can't be even thought of as actually criticising his own government. And so it's just not practical. If Harry stopped that, that would be a step forward. But he hasn't, because he wants to win that one. And so that stops Charles talking for him. And he can't anyway. And the trouble is that if he does talk to Harry about other things, about the weather or anything, Harry can say that he actually wanted to talk to me about the issue at court. And who would know otherwise? And he could lie. He's lied before, and he's lied many a time in his book. And that's that would be terrible for the king and terrible for the monarchy.
Angela, Meghan Markle has also been exposed this week for lying in that Emma Grede interview. Now, we spoke about it earlier in the week and we decoded the whole thing. So, by the way, if you do actually want to know the truth about that interview with my analysis and Angela's expertise, then you can go and find that video on Instagram. But it was specifically, Angela, something that you pointed out, which was this claim from Meghan that she took Archie and Lily to sell their homegrown fruit and veg at the local market in Montecito. And I remember you saying, Angela, you immediately said to me on air, well, why have there been no pictures of this? How did this happen? Well, X under Elon Musk has this community notes feature, which effectively is a reader-generated fact check of lies that are told by people in the public domain. Like, you don't want to get one of these. Well, Meghan has, because the note has been added saying you need certification and approval in order to sell produce and other items privately. Their family is not listed. So, Angela, this was...
I didn't...
Yes, this was clearly... clearly, it was just a lie. It was just a lie.
My goodness. Oh my goodness, that proves such a lot, doesn't it? Well, I mean, it didn't make sense to me that you would let a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old go and tell them that they can go and sell vegetables and fruit that they've grown in their own garden. But then she says she wanted to learn the value of money. Now, tell me a 4-year-old would understand what she's talking about money. A 6, maybe little bit, but and would she leave them by themselves? where was she? Who was there looking after them, for goodness sake? I mean, someone can come up and actually be very difficult, or steal them, or actually run off with them if they recognize them somehow by their backs or by their hair. It was extremely dangerous. I think she was very, very nervous in Emma Green's chat together, and I think she was coming up with more and more things that come into her head and actually were nonsense. But that is stunning. That is amazing.
It is. Here's just a reminder, by the way, of what she actually said in case people did miss our must-watch analysis of the car crash interview. Here you go.
Sure. Do you have, I mean, your kids are really little, mine are a bit older. Do you have conversations with your kids about money? Like, how are you even beginning to think about that type of thing?
Well, we sometimes do a little farmer's market stand.
Nice.
So we have...
That's so American. I love that idea. Like a little lemonade stand just makes me feel like that
Yes.
is like perfect Americana in Montecito with a farm stand.
But
like,
we do...
How beautiful.
We grow a lot of veggies, and part of what I want them...
Go and sell these kids.
Part of what I want them to learn is, and gardening is really, really so great for children because it teaches them patience, teaches them to value and appreciate their food. So you start from seed and you watch it grow and they wait. But with that, it's like, now do you want to sell your harvest?
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to share it with our community? And also, what do you want to do with those funds once you have them? So really starting to understand, as they're learning counting and numbers and all of those things, that there's a cost and a price for things.
Yes.
And I think that's key for children to understand that, especially children who are very lucky to have a home that has privilege. You need to know that, just like manners, and taking care of the things around you, there is a value on things. And in our life, for my husband and I, it's really important that they understand the value of things.
Who believes it? Not me. But actually, Angela, according to Taz, has an interesting take on that whole answer too. She thinks Meghan is effectively trying to cosplay Catherine here. She writes, I remember reading several articles about Catherine and Carol Middleton teaching Prince George and Princess Charlotte about gardening, and they'd set up little activity stations to get them engaged so the children can learn about how food is grown so they can pick their own. She is such a stalker. All those years of the Tig blog and giving interviews, Meghan never had any interest in gardening, beekeeping, pet chickens, or making jams and preserves. Prior to her stalking the Wells family and predominantly Catherine, she is obsessed with copying them. So that was another take on it all, Angela.
I don't agree with that, really. I think you might not do all these things, gardening and all that stuff, without children. When you have children, you might want to do lots of different things. I mean, that's how you grow up. You don't actually stay doing the things you wanted to do as a single person. And also that children do love digging and making, put potatoes in the earth or something like that. And they really, really enjoy it. So I think that that's quite common. I don't think that maybe she's trying to do it against her sister-in-law, but actually I do think that you can't expect people to stay the same. And that you change enormously once you get married and you have children. You don't want to play the same games or do the same things. You want to do what they do. So, and it's very, very exciting and touching if you get them to sort of be thrilled to bits that they've got a tomato. I mean, really thrilled to bits. And I think that's fair enough. I'm very happy to criticize her all day, but I think that one, let her free on that one.
Angela, you have been looking into this fascinating claim from Rebecca English in the Daily Mail that there was one word that made the Queen realise, the late Queen Elizabeth II we're talking about, that made her realise that there was no going back with Harry and Meghan, and it was the word collaborate. So what do you know about this? Explain the story.
Well, when they said in 2020 that they wanted to leave the royal family, but they would like to pop in and pop out and, do something now and then. And the Queen had a long discussion with Harry. She wouldn't let Meghan come, which she was furious about. In any case, she was in Canada at that time. and said really what he wanted. And what they really wanted was to collaborate. Well, you don't say you're going to collaborate with the Queen, certainly not the late Queen Elizabeth, because you can't have it your way. She's the Queen. She makes the decisions. She knows what she wants. And you can see she really doesn't like her in those photographs you're showing. Now, Rebecca English brought this out and said this. It was a piece in the Mail. And I thought to myself, that's very interesting. And right at the end, it says that unless they stop going on about this, they will have, there's be a very, very difficult ending for them. And I thought, my goodness, because I know Rebecca English very well. She's absolutely brilliant. And she is so careful how she speaks about the royals and how she writes about the royals. She's always, she says, gives you the information, but she's very, very careful. This was a whopper. You know, she wouldn't have said this unless the family, the royal family, are now mighty fed up with Meghan and are going to hit her back if necessary. That's my reading of it. And there has been another one that's very, very similar, that now they're opening the door, which they never said anything in it, and they want to be quiet and they don't want to get into a fight. But the things she's now saying and the dances she does are too much. It's too vulgar. It's too many lies. And so what they're going to do now is actually come out with lots of things. And Rebecca said that she knows some of the staff who have been really damaged by Meghan being absolutely vile to them. They were people who'd helped her for a long time, and she could see for herself how badly that she has been treated, these people have been treated by Meghan. And unless that was true, you wouldn't hear a word of it from Rebecca. You really, really wouldn't.
Absolutely fascinating. Really, really fascinating stuff. Angela Levin, our Royal Mastermind. Thank you so much. And we're celebrating here today, Angela, because Outspoken has hit 400,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Well done.
Which is just amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. The Daily Show has been going for less than 1 year. You've obviously been here from day one, Angela, before we even launched.
Lucky me.
Yeah, before
Lucky
we even
me.
launched the live show, actually. But then, of course, you were on our first ever live show, which was on July the 5th. Last year. So to have 400,000 subscribers is incredible. But I did just want to mention it because there are a lot of people who watch our videos, Angela, and are not subscribed. And the great thing is you can subscribe completely for free, right? So it costs you nothing to subscribe. But if you subscribe and then you turn on the notification bell, you will be alerted to our new videos. So it really is nothing that you have to do, but for us, for the channel, Outspoken, it just means that we're getting bigger, and I really, really would appreciate it. So just hit the subscribe, and you'll be doing me a big favor. So Angela Levin, thank you so much.
One of the important things is that we're not scared to say what we think, and we don't mind, but we try and get things absolutely right.
Which you can't trust the mainstream media to do these days.
No.
On a whole
So
load of
it's been lovely
issues.
for me. It's been lovely for me. Thank you, Dan.
Well, we've had a great, we're not even at the year, actually, so we won't celebrate that yet. But to have the 400,000 is just incredible. And Angela, you'll be back to do it all again next week. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.